Listen up, I got a story to tell. We're raising hell every Monday and Thursday. Coachella. Listen up, I got a story to tell. We're raising hell every Monday and Thursday. Pop culture unleashed. Facts unfiltered, hype increased. Just unleashed, breaking through the screen. Living in chaos, creating the dream. This is where rage and humor collide, so hold on tight. I got that drive in me, for the life of me. Staying truly thankful for the fans I see. Talking to people of all types, making the chat hype. The more united we are, the higher we all fly. I got that drive in me, for the life of me. Stand truly thankful for the fans I see. Talking to people of all types, making the chat hype. The more united we are, the higher we all fly. Unleashed, breaking through the screen. Living in chaos, creating the dream. This is where rage and humor collide, so hold on. Starts igniting, my brain starts igniting. When Shane starts writing, God placed us in this fighting to speak and enlighten. We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina. Energy to do our thing. Get your camera lights dim. The chat starts to grin. The stream is live and buffering. The show is about to begin. So sit down and buckle it in. This is unleashed, break through the screen. Pop culture chaos, living the dream. Living the dream. Every Monday and Thursday. Pop culture unleashed, living the...
You know what the problem with Hollywood is? They make shit. Unbelievable, unremarkable shit.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair.
Will you fight? No! We will run! And we will live!
Shame on you! This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst.
And I guarantee a week won't go by in your life you won't regret walking out, letting them get the best of it.
Well, I'm not going home.
Day may come when the courage of men fails, but it is not this day.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before.
I really do believe that together we can accomplish anything.
Because we'll never stop learning and we'll never stop growing.
Failure is not an option.
That's how winning is done. Believe me when I say
We can break this army here. It has made us brothers. I say to you, what every warrior has known since the beginning of time.
You've got to get mad.
I mean plumb mad dog mean.
If you would be free men, then you must
Fight to fulfill that promise. Let us
cut out their living guts
1 inch at a time.
And they will know what we can do!
Let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions.
This is your
lions.
Seize the day.
Never surrender. Victory or death.
So come on then! Take it!
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
All right, let's fly!
my name is the Lord. When I tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our Independence Day.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world.
We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina. Energy to do our thing, get your camera up. This show is about to begin, so sit down and buckle it in. Let's go!
Shane!
What's up?
Welcome back, my dude!
It's good to be back. It's been a while, brother.
I am so glad you're here. I have missed you so much.
Oh, come on, really?
I have. I've missed you incredibly, sir. I know you had to work an extra job and stuff, and we were like just killing ourselves, but I'm so glad you're here right now. It's amazing.
Thanks, man. Yeah, trying to live in Southern California is is interesting. It's it's becoming more difficult month by month as
Thanks, man. Yeah.
inflation goes
Trying to
up
live
and
in Southern
the
California.
cost of everything becomes more. So, I missed you guys so much. I had to come back and I said, let's do a show. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's party. Yeah. One thing that
you guys.
One thing that definitely demotivated me from doing shows, besides the fact that I was working my literal rear end off. Oh, we just got a super chat from Kenneth the Rogue for $200. Oh my God!
What? Wow, Ken,
Kenneth
thanks.
the Rogue coming through with the woo.
He's tired of me crying about working second jobs. Thank you so much, Ken.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. We really appreciate it, man. I know it's been a long time, but we are so happy to see you, and been talking with Kenneth a little bit off and on, and he's doing some really cool stuff over there. So good to see you guys. Thank you, Ken. That really means so much, man.
Thank you, Kenneth. We really appreciate it, my friend. Also, a couple members chats that I can't put on screen because YouTube sucks. But they say, "Let's do it" by You're on Fault, who made the song that we put in our trailer and in the YouTube ad, Twitter ad. So thank you, You're on. And Archmage Frey for 6 months. This is my Kenneth appreciation posts. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. Kenneth, everyone thanks you.
Yes.
See, it's been so long I strained, bro. My light just died on me.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
So to deal with the me in the shade here.
Another member chat from Joe Crony. He says, life stinks right now, but the boys. Ooh, Star Trek STD is depressing. And then Kenneth the Rogue just gifted 5 pulp culture memberships.
Wow.
My dude.
Dang, Ken,
First off, thank
man.
you, Kenneth, and thank you for this amazing segue, because if you want to become a member, it's pretty simple. Hit the join button below. And we have not abandoned this channel. Just because we took some time off, just because Shane had to go work another job, doesn't mean we've abandoned the channel. We're going to be back. We're dedicated to our members. We're dedicated to doing the show. It honestly is my venting platform. It's a way for me to
You have no one else to talk to. It's
unleash.
fantastic.
That's why it's called Unleashed. I can unleash all my frustration onto you guys.
You know, it's what it's always been too. Even going all the way back to Raw Rant, it was just so you could bitch and complain. Basically.
Right? Yeah. Going back to that original. I still can't believe we had a show that had like 80,000 active listeners, and we still didn't know how to monetize it.
No idea, no clue. Well, that was back when everything was new and
before
the
YouTube.
internet was free. That's when the internet was free. That was a time.
We just got another 5 Pop Culture Unleashed memberships from You're on Fault. Okay, so thank you. I'm back on track. If you want to become a member, hit the join button. After this show, after this hour we're going to do here, we're going to go into the members chat, and we have a special thing for you. We're going to actually put up the topics toward the end of the show, and you will be able to vote on what you want us to continue talking about in the members section. Because I've heard the comments, I've heard the chats, I get it. Some things you want to talk about, and some things you don't. So you know what? We're gonna put I'll put the poll up toward the end of the show, and you can vote on what we're gonna talk about. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Shane?
Well, before we do that, I just want to point out here, you're on who sent in the Unleashed members. I got to tell you, you're on. One of the reasons why I told Brian I want to start, coming back and doing the shows again was the little thing that you put up. I think it ran in the beginning of the show. The little song that you're on created and sent over to us was really hilarious and touching, and made me want to come back and try to make this work. In between jobs.
If you haven't heard it, it was in the trailer and it's on Twitter. And next week I will fashion it into the actual intro so that you can hear it there too.
Very cool. Very cool.
Maybe me and Shane would do like an old 70s TV intro. We're like,
yes, that would be so funny, like Starsky and Hutch or something.
Yeah, something like that, where it's like Shane as Shane, Brian as Brian.
We are who we are. Penny, thank you. Good to see you too. Member for 7 months. Thank you so much, Penny. Happy to see you too. It's good to be back.
Oh, another super chat from Frodo Lives for $9.99. Nice to see you again, Frodo Lives. I'm so sorry we were gone for so long. But what does Timberlake say? I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step 2.
Oh, really?
We're back
I didn't know
now.
I did that.
I don't think you listen to Timberland.
I like listening to Timberlake when he's with Jimmy Fallon and they're doing spoofs.
Yeah. Timberlake is actually really talented.
Yeah. I guess so.
Okay. He is.
I'll leave that one to you. No, he is. He's got. I just don't like his style of music. It's not very good.
That's fair.
Gonna go live at the other channel? ? That's what Jeremy Schneider wants to know for $2. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Good to see you, brother.
Oh, he's talking about the main channel. Oh, yeah. I guess we need to explain that because we didn't explain it very much last time, or at least I didn't. So what we're gonna do on that channel, we are gonna go live when I'm a little closer to finishing this next doc. We're gonna go live probably on Monday. I gotta talk over to Shane, but that's when we're gonna do our cold read and catch up with just members. So we're not doing any public live streams on that channel. We're doing members only, and we're usually gonna wrap it around whatever documentary we're working on.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, if you haven't, that's another one of the big things that I've been doing since I've been gone. I've been really focused on trying to get, the money makers for YouTube, which is our main channel, and trying to get those scripts done. And so I have we completed we did Dune, right? And we've got Ghostbusters coming out, right? Which we will do a members show for.
I'm surprised you actually released that information. Usually you tell me not to talk about it.
We're so close now.
Yeah, we are very close.
So I'm okay with it. And then we've got others coming. So, if you aren't a member over there, or if you watch the other channel, please do go check out those videos. We appreciate it. And we do members over there.
Yeah, the definitive history of Ghostbusters is a long one. It's a really long one.
I am an expert on all things Ghostbusters.
And thank you for the super chat, Jeremy. Yeah, he is now. Yeah.
we should have like a contest every time we do one of these with everybody where people get to submit like 5 questions just to see if I can answer them all. Because I've become such a subject matter expert.
Well, we could do that in the live show next week. In the live.
Yes, if you want to know what Bill Murray's penis size was when he was 7 years old, I've got it. So.
Yeah, I thought that was weird that you included that in the script. I was like, how do I visualize that on screen? So
you can't, because I just said 7 years old, so that would have been really bad.
Right? Yeah, it was very difficult, but I managed to do it. I'm hoping the FBI doesn't shut us down.
It's at your house, buddy. It's
the
all
power of AI.
Right.
Okay. So we are talking about Fallout today. Fallout, the series on Amazon, and not just the series itself, but how it relates to Star Trek. Because the next topic we're talking about is the Star Trek Origin movie. They greenlit it. It was actually announced at CinemaCon. So if it's announced at CinemaCon, it's probably going to happen. When you announce it on Deadline on a random Saturday, it might not happen. But when you're announced at CinemaCon, it's probably going to happen. Also, we're talking about in a little more socio-political news. There's a kid that was suspended for using the term illegal alien. We thought that was a ridiculous thing, so we're going to talk about that. And Superman. It's not called Superman Legacy anymore. It's just called Superman. And apparently today, and hopefully I'm ahead of the curve, today they're supposed to be releasing the suit. But I haven't talked to Shane for so long about Superman that even if they don't release the suit by the time we get there, because it's supposed to happen before 5, even if they don't, I still want to talk to you about Superman because I think the casting is outstanding. And I haven't been excited about a movie like this in a while, so...
Rec Thoughts member for 7 months. My boys are back, and we are very happy. Yes, we are happy to see you too, Rec. Thanks so much. Glad we could hopefully we can get this going consistently here going forward from now on. I think I have my schedule pretty much at hand, and I'm a little bit ahead of script, so I think we can keep doing it.
Rock and or roll. Let's go. Yes, Rec Thoughts, it is an origin movie. It's very odd. We're going to talk all about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. Unless you got something else, Shane, I think we should just jump right in.
No, let's jump in. Let's go. Everybody's been waiting. Let's get this show on the road.
All right, if you haven't seen Fallout yet, Fallout is on Amazon Prime. It is rocking a 94% critics rating and an 89% audience rating. As you know, that is not common. That's not a common thing. So when both those audiences line up like that, and we're not talking about a small amount of reviews. We're talking about almost 100 reviews for critics and over 1,000 reviews for audience so far. When those things line up like that, it usually means good things. And so when I saw those numbers climbing up, I started watching. And I gotta tell you, man, I was not disappointed. Now, what's interesting is I've played Fallout, at least a couple of the games. Shane has not. Shane, what episode are you up to yet?
I am at the end of episode 2 right now, so I'm still kind of at the beginning of it. And so far, so good. I mean, it's very intriguing. I love the premise. I kind of knew what Fallout was about, even though I never played the games. But I had never really, looked into it too deeply. So I was pleasantly surprised with the way it started out. So it's got a bunch of different factions. It's got characters on all the different spectrums and scales that you could possibly want. It's got good guys. It's got bad guys. It's telling so far a really good story. So jury's out for me still, but through 2 episodes, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I've watched the entire thing. The first 2 episodes the first few episodes to me are actually the most boring. So it's really good that you're enjoying it now because, that's the first couple episodes for me. Well, the first episode was good, but the 2 or 3 episodes after that, I was getting a little bit bored, especially with like the Brotherhood or whatever it's called. Just a little bit.
Well, they actually didn't focus on that too much. Right. And even that character, even the Finn, the Finn character's interesting. He's complicated.
Right. Yeah. I did notice that a few people were complaining about that character because he uses or she uses or whatever they them pronouns.
I'm talking about the black guy.
Oh, the black guy. Oh, Maximus.
Yeah. He's not Max. Well, you know more than I do, but he looks like Finn from Star Wars.
Oh, that's why you said Finn. I thought you were talking about the they them guy.
Actually, you know what he looks like? He looks like a young, slightly overweight Denzel Washington.
I was on our server admin thing. Hold up, let me just tell this guy thank you.
But seriously, I was looking
at my chat with this guy. Okay. So yeah, I guess he sort of looks like Finn or whatever.
He does, and or like a young Denzel, like a little fatty Denzel Washington.
He has an interesting face because he looks like he's either always tired or always bored.
Or about to cry.
To cry.
That's what his face looks like.
Yeah. It's funny. So the guy's name is Aaron Clifton Moten, and he's actually been in a few things. He was in Father Stew, which I really enjoyed a lot, with Mark Wahlberg. He was in a couple things. He was also in Emancipation with Will Smith, which I didn't really care for. But I've seen him guest star in a few things too, and I never liked his face because he always seemed bored. Like he always seemed bored. Your camera is all crazy.
My internet is.
Yeah. I'm sure that will get fixed. Let me just finish my thought here. So he always seemed bored. However, in this one, he also seems like he's a little bored or a little disconnected. However, as you will see, it plays into his character and his sort of naivety, and it really works. So at first, I didn't like the casting, but I ultimately did like the casting of that character. My favorite casting of the character, however, of the series, was not Maximus. It was Ella Purnell, who plays Lucy, and she is fantastic. Not only is she absolutely gorgeous, but she also played the voice of one of my favorite characters in that Arcane series, which is also another video game adaptation for Netflix. So she's batting a no-hitter right now for video game adaptations, which is great. But she is really fantastic, and she really just, every time she says okie dokie, I'm like, yes. Now, the character a lot of people are talking about is actually Walter Goggins, who plays Cooper Howard, aka the Ghoul, and that character is that actor is just synonymous with the cowboy character. He was in The Hateful Eight, Justified, Righteous Gemstones as the uncle. He is an amazing actor, just a fantastic actor. I can't believe I slept.
He's definitely.
Go ahead.
He's definitely the most interesting character.
Yes,
at least so far for me.
Yeah, he was also in Django Unchained. He is really good at that character. But if you've ever seen The Righteous Gemstones, he plays, which is about a bunch of really sort of a corrupt Christian family who runs like a mega church.
I haven't seen it.
It's really great. Given my background and my upbringing, that show is just hilarious to me because I recognize some of those people from people I knew when I was a kid. And he plays the uncle in that. Not a cowboy, not a badass, just an uncle, and he's awesome. So great character. So the three main characters are basically Ella Purnell as Lucy, Walton Goggins as Cooper Howard, and Aaron Clifton Motton as Maximus, and they kill it. Now,
so just a heads up, I had to shut down YouTube so in order to get this to work. So you'll have to do the any super chats or anything comes out.
Okay, yeah, I'll be on it. Yeah,
awesome.
I'll be on it. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate you.
Yeah, well, it's the only way I could keep this from not turning into max headroom. So
not from turning off. A couple notable things. Michael Emerson is in the series too. He was in one of my favorite of all time shows called Persons of Interest. He's great, and I'm only going to talk about people I like. And Johnny Pemberton, who is in Superstore as the idiot fiance to one of the characters, also really great. Now, let's talk about the. I'm sorry, one more. And Chris Parnell at some point is in it. I don't want to give a spoiler away, but he's also great. Now, before we talk about the connection, in my opinion, to Star Trek, let's talk about the criticism that some people had. Moises Aris, I can't pronounce the person's name, plays a character
Moises Arias. Yeah.
Thank you. Plays a character who uses they them pronouns. And look, we are if you know us, we are constantly saying we hate the they them pronouns. It's stupid to us. However, it was so quick and such a minor thing that it didn't take me out of the show.
It must happen after episode 2.
Yeah, it happens in episode 3.
Okay, so I'm not there yet.
You will. Yeah, you'll be there. It's when they get really deep into the Brotherhood stuff. But the thing is, I get it. I get people's criticism over it. We're living in this world where everything is just the message. But this, to quote Critical Drinker, the message. But this show doesn't have any of the message in it aside from this person identifying as they, them. And it's so quick, and it's a blink and you miss it reference. I just don't really care. And I know
you're going to have a hard time.
I'm supposed to.
You're going to have a hard time in this society. Almost every show is going to have it. It's a measuring stick for every Hollywood show now. You're going to have some element, even if it's small. There's going to be some nod to the trans movement or to whatever this youth movement is that's happening. Because if you don't do it, then you're going to get criticized, and there's a chance that you may not get hired for another job. So expect it. The shows who don't want to focus on it are going to put it in, and it's going to go by quickly. But it's something that I don't think we're going to be able to get away from.
Yeah, and we've talked to people in Hollywood that pretty much share our opinion on the whole non-binary and the message and all this that's being pushed, and they also don't agree. But the people that are working for is they're literally placing mandates in writer rooms that you have to do these things. So when you see it addressed as little as possible, I'm assuming that's the writers attempting to get by with the minimum and still tell a good story. And this was the absolute bare minimum. Like if you muted it for 3 seconds, it wouldn't be a problem, you know?
Yeah, it's not. It's one of those things that you're not going to be able to get away from. And the reality is that these people do exist. It is reality. They exist. If you have young children like I do, you run into it on a daily basis now. There are young people are constantly. I have my children's friends are, half of them are they them. So it's pretty normal for me to run into it all the time. So when I see it, it doesn't really bother me. And as long as it's there naturally, I think this character, from what I've seen so far, doesn't seem to play. I mean, this person was in the first episode. That's the one that got injured, right?
Yeah, he got injured. Was that the first episode?
That was the first episode.
Oh, so yeah.
Maximus.
So that's when they referred to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it.
I'm telling you, it's so quick. It's so quick, dude.
I just thought it was some girl.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was a girl too. I did think it was weird that there was a girl in the middle of like a soldier routine, but whatever.
Well, it's 200 something years in the future. So
I think we're past it. Yeah.
Starship Troopers was there. So.
That's right. Yeah. Remember, they were all showering together. You remember that scene?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's so the big boss of the Brotherhood, basically, when he's accusing him of hurting the person. Jesus, it's hard. He refers to the person as they, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Joe Cronin for $10.
That's it. Then it's not that we would do.
I don't see it. I don't see it as a problem. Again, blink and you miss it.
But it is. But yeah, you're right. But it is a problem for the purpose of why it's doing it. Overall, does it impact what you're watching? Not at all.
Yes, overall, it doesn't impact what you're watching. But the fact that it's being pushed onto people, that is a problem. But I don't think that these writers, they don't have the power you think they do. They just don't.
They don't have any power.
They don't have any power. Yeah.
No, HR has all the power.
Yep.
Human resources.
HR is run by a very loud minority. Joe Cronin for $10. He says, could James Cromwell play Cochrane, since it would be around the time of his speech played in the Enterprise Broken Bow? James Cromwell is the original character that played Cochrane in First Contact and in Enterprise.
Problem is he probably can't, Joe. He's 84 years old right now, and by the time the movie gets made, he's going to be probably 85 or 86. Could he play an older version? Yeah, he could. He could play like if there was a passing of the baton or something happening where Cochrane was older or something was happening in the Star Trek universe there. What concerns me about this, what's about to happen is which origin story are they going to go to?
And we're going to get to that. Yeah. All right, Rec Thoughts. Thank you, Rec Thoughts, for $10. Thank you. By the way, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Rec.
Thank you guys for the donations.
Fallout is interesting because people I trust really did not like it, and people I trust really did like it. I have no gamer play stake in either. We'll probably check it out. Yeah, friends of mine, hated it, and they hated it. A big reason why they hated it was the they-them stuff. And possibly because they played the games. And there is a small percentage of people that played the games that are really nitpicking certain things. I played the games too. I wasn't like a super fan. I don't have 100,000 hours or something that some of these guys have. But I think that they really didn't, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment. They did a really good job pleasing the fans of the franchise and gaining new fans by telling another story. I think it was very well executed. Was it perfect? No. But in this day and age, I mean, this level of creativity and world building usually is surrounded by the message, and that's not what we got here. It's a good story with good, likable characters, and I like the message. Like, not that message, the actual message of the show was the enemy. I can't say it because Shane hasn't seen it yet. But
yeah, don't.
You'll see what I'm talking about once you finish it. Like, the enemy of the ultimate antagonist in this show is not what or who you think it is. And that makes it really interesting because I haven't seen a TV show like this in a long, long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the premise alone, I mean, I've never been a Fallout. I've always been kind of curious because I knew it was about post-nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought it'd be a cool game to play. I just never had time to do it. So when the show came out, I'm like, well, listen, I'm all about dystopian futures in movies. So I obviously at least wanted to check it out. And yeah, if you're into that premise, it's not at all disappointing. So it's worth giving it a try. Watch a couple episodes, see how you feel about it. I will tell you that the Lucy character is not a Mary Sue.
No, not at
like
all.
some people may have thought that she might be. She's, you know, what she does makes sense. What she can do and can't do is reasonable. And I think it's pretty enjoyable so far.
She gets the crap kicked out of her a couple times. All right, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on here pretty soon. You're on Falth. Be right back. Wiping off the sauce of my thing with the curtains.
You know, you're on. That can be taken a couple of ways, buddy.
Yeah, I think that was intentional.
Was that the intention?
I'm assuming. Don't
Yeah,
know what that means.
I listen. I feel comfortable if you can take care of personal needs while watching our show. I'm fine with that. So
yeah, I guess. So,
Brian is very sexy.
Yeah, I guess. Jeremy Snyder said, "You guys are being so boomer. Didn't even notice any pronouns with LGBTQ." No, I'm telling you,
I didn't notice either.
I had to go back and watch it after friends of ours complained, and then I saw it. I didn't even remember what episode it was in. Again, it's a blink and you miss. It didn't really matter.
Yeah. I mean, there are people out there who have such strong opinions about pronouns that any sort of inclusion of pronouns at all into a show, you know, they have a very strong opinion of it. Personally, we're not that. Listen, if you're true to the story, you tell a good story, you have great characters that are interesting and compelling. That's what's important to us.
And a rich world, which this one is extremely rich. It works for me.
Yeah, so far. Is everything happening in Southern California? It seems to be that way.
Right now, a lot of it's taking place there, but next season, I can't tell you. I can't tell you what happens because it's a spoiler.
Yeah, don't tell me. No.
But when you see the last episode and you see where they're going, you're gonna be like, "Oh, nice."
It's the Planet of the Apes.
That last frame was really rad for me.
Okay, cool.
All right. One more quick thing. August TV. Terry got called a bigot by the 2 online Trek fandom for not having enough of the message in President 3. That's correct. Yeah, I remember him. I remember him being like, "Can't win.
You can't. You know, and it's sad is because you know he's trying to be flexible for sure, and it will never be enough. Yeah. If you're not all the way for some people, then you're not far enough. And if you use any of it at all, then you've gone too far. You can't make you'll never be able to make everybody happy. So you just gotta roll with your belief system and hope the majority follows.
That's the key. All right, let's talk about this segue. We're going to talk about Star Trek: The Origin movie. The reason I titled the show Star Trek Can Learn from Fallout was because, and Shane made a good point when we were talking about this, Star Trek has a lot more canon to deal with. But Fallout did a very good job capturing new fans while impressing and retaining the majority of its old fans. Something that Star Trek in recent years have not been able to do. So,
agreed.
Now that we're gonna get an origin movie, which is what this is here.
Why can't we just move forward, bro?
I don't know.
Why do we always have to go back? Why is it always an origin?
It's never ending. We are perpetually moving backwards in time, and it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
They want to move backwards in time so they can just retcon everything that ever happened from before.
It's so weird. I'm sorry. Let's just recap real quick. Ready?
Go ahead.
Star Trek, after Voyager, went bold and they did Enterprise. For the most part, they tried to stay within the canon with Enterprise. And it started a little rough, but it ultimately found its footing. And then there was, 15 years of no Star Trek?
Which made sense because you just had 3 consecutive series in a row that were in the current timeline. So going for a 4th series and continuing the story, it felt okay to do a prequel.
It felt okay.
To explore the beginnings of Starfleet.
Yeah, and the very beginnings of Starfleet That's the important time, right? The first,
it's an important time, 100%.
Yes, the first warp capable ship, the first Enterprise. I get it.
Yes,
sign me up. And there was enough in there for, and I know they were trying to get new fans, but ultimately they were also trying to please old fans. That's what Berman was trying to do.
Right.
And I think ultimately it works. I actually like Enterprise a lot. I know there's people that don't, but I like it. I enjoy the hell of it, actually. Now, then we got like 15 years of no Star Trek. And that was partially because of Les Moonves, the double D douchebag that is Les Moonves and his hate for all things Star Trek. Of course, that guy ends up being a massive victimizer. So then they announce we're going to get Star Trek Discovery. I remember that day. I literally remember being on star_trek, the Reddit subreddit, and people trying to figure out what's Star Trek Discovery going to be. What time is going to take place in? Is it going to be after Voyager? Is it going to have characters from those shows? I remember all those posts.
Yeah.
All the copium coming out of that subreddit. And then we got that first teaser, remember? With the stupid ring cut out for no reason out of Discovery. People immediately said, well, that confirms it must be in the future. Because look at the ship.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously that ship belongs 900 years in the future. I mean, they eventually got it right.
Right.
That's all I can say.
And then what we got was another show set in the past in a time that is not important, featuring parts of things that look like Star Trek, but nothing that felt like Star Trek. Out of the second season, we got our first glimpse of the Enterprise with Captain Pike. People really liked that small amount of time he was on screen. They made an entire show out of it. So they kept it going technically, and they sent Star Trek Discovery into the future to try to avoid all the canon issues that they had caused. Since then, we have had multiple projects announced. We've had Star Trek 4 announced, Section 31 announced.
Yeah.
We've had Starfleet Academy announced. We even had a Khan miniseries announced that ultimately turned into a podcast, and they announced that podcast as if we would care. I remember that. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I remember now we're going to have the Khan podcast. And everyone's trying to act excited, but we're all like,
they got screwed. Well, they got screwed. They were supposed to do a TV series, limited TV series.
Right, miniseries.
And the podcast was a compromise by Alex Kurtzman. Yeah.
So, and then we get reports that Section 31 is going to be moving in time. Guess what direction they're going to be moving?
Backwards.
Yeah. Backwards in time.
Yeah.
Time travelers moving backwards.
Yes, backwards. To the age of the dinosaurs. I have no idea.
I don't know.
It just sounds like something they do.
It sounds like Empress Georgiou is going to go fight a T-Rex.
Just before the dinosaurs went to the far off galaxy, like we find out in Voyager.
Right. Yeah. She's the reason they got on the ship. The Saurians got on the ship and went to the Delta Quadrant.
Love it.
So, and then we got a couple announcements. Star Trek 4 is not happening, and then it is happening. Then it got a director, and then it's not happening. Then it is happening. Then it got a director. Then it's not happening. Then it is happening.
Do that 2 more times.
I know, over and over and over again. And then they announce, as they're announcing the Star Trek Origin movie, they also throw in, and Star Trek 4 is still happening. Like, yeah, bro.
Listen, can you call it Star Trek 4 if it's going to start over at the beginning?
No. This is the thing. I thought, too, that the Star Trek Origin movie was going to be Star Trek 4. No. 2 separate projects.
What?
Yes.
Did I read that wrong?
Yeah, Star Trek 4 is still in development. Star Trek Origin movie is a separate project.
Stupid. Hey, but so just so you know, Star Trek 4 is never going to happen. So if they're saying that to keep people on the hook, but that's never going to happen.
There's no.
If that's the case, if they're really doing a Star Trek origin story, Star Trek 4 is dead forever.
Yeah, I'm officially of the mind that there is no way Star Trek 4 happens. That entire crew, the JJ crew, is gonna die old and never make a Star Trek 4.
It's never gonna happen.
But the fact is, I love that they announced this. The Star Trek Origin movie is officially in development at CinemaCon. Note, they didn't announce Star Trek 4 was happening at CinemaCon.
That's because Chris Pine is going to play a young Captain Kirk. And they're going to DH him.
Okay.
I have no idea.
So now this is going to be
an
an origin. So what is an origin? And we're going to read this, but what is an origin, Shane? What is that? Like the beginning?
Question? You screwing me?
Well, I know the definition of the word origin.
Just like, what do you mean?
I want to know what they think the origin of Star Trek is.
The origin of Star Trek is that moment when Khan actually is reborn because of the changing of time into a girl who ends up growing into a trans human being who goes back in a time and actually kills Jesus Christ on the cross and then starts history over again.
And finds a lightsaber and kills the dinosaur.
And meets on Transformers planet.
So yeah, it's a full franchise,
it's an origin story,
interconnected franchise,
universe origin story.
Yeah. So the thing is, technically,
yeah,
if you're gonna say Star Trek origin movie, we have to be talking about the events of Enterprise.
No, it has to go back further than that.
Does it?
Well,
it's called Star Trek, not
Star
Earth
Trek starts. Well, Star Trek starts with the Vulcans coming to Earth, realistically.
Okay.
Now, they could say it starts with Khan. Sorry, listen, guys, I'm still angry. I have not watched Discovery. I'm going to watch it this week under protest.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about next week. Yeah, you just wait.
No, I'm so angry about Star Trek Strange New World still and what transpired that just talking about Star Trek at all makes my blood pressure go up. So, but I will say this, somehow they've concocted that Khan is the beginning of the Star Trek universe somehow, when in reality, breaking warp speed, getting to warp 1 is the start of the Star Trek universe, because that's when the Vulcans land on Earth. And that's really when Star Trek begins.
Right. But then what do you have? Like 100 years of development before we actually take off and join our brothers in the stars?
Almost. Yeah. Yeah. A long time. It took a long time to go from Cochrane to I don't know why I just drew a blank. Scott Bakula's.
Yeah. Enterprise. Yeah.
Enterprise.
Archer.
It took a long time. It took a long time to get to Archer. So, it wasn't overnight.
Okay, from Yoron Fault, he says, I have to double tap my comm badge and take a piss. I don't even know.
I wonder if that's how they do it on Star Trek. Listen, I'll be right back. Okay.
Well, you know why I said that? Because in Discovery, sorry, spoiler alert, they all have personal transporters.
I hate you right now.
I'm not joking. They double tap their comm badge, and it takes them wherever they want. It's like, have you ever played a video game, like a MOBA, like League of Legends or Dota 2 or Warcraft, like the blink or jaunt mechanic? That's basically what everyone in there had. They all have magical abilities.
So it's 900 years in the future. That's fine. I also heard.
I understand that.
Wait. I also heard that Michael Berman can sit on the hull of the spaceship while it's at warp drive.
Yes, you can.
While it's at warp.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the thing is, they use it to move around the ship because they save money that way. They don't have to do the establishing shots or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
But when they need it, and they're in danger or they're running from something, they never actually use it to get away from bad guys.
They could,
or to blink or whatever you want to call it, transport into places they need to be.
Yeah,
because that wouldn't help the plot.
Yeah, it would make the story too easy.
Right. Drives me nuts, bro. It legitimately drives me nuts.
So I know we're going to talk about it next week. So this origin story.
Yes.
Just a couple of things that people need to know.
We'll get to your super chats. We'll talk about this first. Go ahead.
It's being directed by Toby Haynes, who directed the Andor series.
Yeah, you like the Andor series, right?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, honestly, if in the center of the Andor series there wasn't a really cool escape from prison like section, like a couple episodes, I probably wouldn't have liked Andor.
Yeah, the escape from prison with Andy Serkis was like the only redeeming thing for me. It was so boring up until
it was so good, like literally the entire show could have been about that.
It should have been about that.
Would have been okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Andy Serkis should have been the main character.
So but Toby Haynes directed that, so that might give you an idea on the tone of Star Trek. But here's the interesting thing.
We're gonna have like 5-minute segments of them walking down corridors or crawling through Jeffries tubes.
With like a dark sepia tones.
Because he did that in Andor, where it's like there's like no color and it's just like the character walking.
I mean, maybe. I mean, to me, it says it would be serious, but the script is being written by Seth Grahame-Smith, who wrote the Lego Batman movie, which, in my opinion, is one of the best Batman movies of all the Batman movies.
It is one of the best Batman movies.
Yeah. So it's like,
and he also wrote Abraham Vampire Hunter, which is like one of my low-key like guilty pleasures.
Right. So he's good at dialogue,
right?
Really good at dialogue, which that could be good. So it's complicated. It's like it's a weird meshing of talent for the script,
right?
But the real question is you're right. Where does it all begin? Does it begin in current day Toronto, where Khan grew up as a child in the 2020s? Will it explore World War III and all the Bell?
It's called Star
riots?
Trek, though. You have to be in space.
I don't know, Brian. I don't know anymore what the origin of Star Trek is because they keep changing it.
You remember when they wanted to call Enterprise just Enterprise without Star Trek?
Well, that worked for a couple seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, but we're going to go to space at some point.
Let's do something different. But if they didn't want to go to space the first season of Enterprise.
They wanted to stay on Earth like the whole season.
Let's stay on Earth the whole season. And by the finale of season 1, they finally launched the Enterprise. And the studio said, get it in space by the end of the first episode or else.
And listen, the studio usually does not make good decisions, but that right there was a good decision.
They're like, it's happening right now.
They're like, are you kidding me? No. By the end of the first episode, they are in space or you're fired.
Brandon and Rick are like, okay. Whatever you say.
All right. So this is what they say here. Trekkies have been waiting for almost a decade for Star Trek 4 to be released.
It feels like 20 years, if I'm being honest.
And while they're enjoying the onslaught of new Trek content on Paramount Plus, they're longing for the alternate Kelvin timeline to be closed out.
It's already closed.
Here's the popular theory. Another popular theory is that the prequel origin film could be a retelling of the events of First Contact, which sees the Borg a cyborg extraterrestrial race that simulates whole civilizations.
What we need is another movie. We need another First Contact movie.
So many people didn't like the First Contact too.
Well, what happens with the TNG crew? Like they got to be there, right?
Right. If you go back to that time, do we see the TNG crew?
I mean, the answer is no, but yeah. I mean,
no, yeah, the answer is no.
Right.
Here's the deal, boys. I do not think they're going to go back to Cochrane and the Vulcans. I think they're going to bastardize Enterprise, and they're going to do it in the Kelvin universe, so they could do whatever they want.
I think you're right,
and they can also avoid using the very expensive Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana, and that entire cast, which have all gone on to be A-list stars.
Frankly speaking, they could just recast, the Enterprise crew with, Archer and that entire crew, and just do a movie with those characters. They could.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to go back to that first.
You think they'll actually use those characters?
I don't know if they'll use those characters. I mean, they should though. I mean, the Kelvin universe used.
They did. Yep.
And wait a minute. The time. No. oh, this canon don't work. If you go back to make a Kelvin universe at that time, then it F's up the entire timeline, because the reason why there was a change in the timeline was...
No, it can't. Yeah. It can't be Kelvin, bro.
Yeah, there is no Kelvin universe.
Right.
Prior to James Kirk's birth.
Yes.
So what the F?
Reboot anybody?
Maybe let's just call it a reboot.
I don't know.
Let's just
call it anymore.
Guys, let's just give up. Call it a Star Trek reboot. Start at Enterprise and go forward from there, and I'll be happy.
You have to call it a reboot because it's just going to piss us off too much. Like, I'm okay. Like, call it reboot. Because if you try to say it's canon and like stick it in there somewhere, I'm just going to like...
It's going to punch the screen
call
over.
It a reboot.
Just call it a reboot. Just call it a reboot. Yeah, they're going to have to start in Archer's timeline, and it's just going to have to be a reboot. Because it can't... they're talking about it being part of Kelvin, but it can't be part of Kelvin because the Kelvin timeline was invented when the douchebag Romulan came back, when Kirk was being born.
Get it straight. Nero
and split
Great
the
Roman
timeline.
Emperor.
The
Nero.
timeline the Kelvin timeline doesn't exist prior to that.
You're right. Spock created the Kelvin timeline.
And old Spock was in the movie, which cemented the original timeline to that timeline.
His red matter created the Kelvin timeline.
Ah, jeez. I'm
Mr. Anderson for $5. Thank you so much. Just stop by to say, missed you guys a show. Welcome back, Shane.
Oh, thank you, Miss Anderson.
Thank you,
so
Mr.
much.
Anderson. Thank you.
Also from Ufuk Dat Bish.
What? Come on, really?
That's his name.
Come on.
Ufuk
Say it
Dat
again.
Bish.
Wait. Do it again.
Ufuk Dat Bish.
You see it on the bottom of the screen there? I'm sorry, that's funny. When I was in high school, I worked at a bowling alley, and they were constantly calling and paging Jack Mehoff, constantly, and it was a bowling alley completely full of Filipinos, so it absolutely worked like multiple times, and yeah, they fell for it.
From Ufuk, he says, thank you for 199, sir. He says, I stopped watching STD after the 2 ships crash. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that. Is that the first episode?
It's the first episode.
Oh, nice.
So Shane is going to be forced to watch. We have all the screeners, so he's going to watch the whole series season.
I've had access to this for a while and just have avoided it.
He's going to watch the whole thing before next Thursday. And honestly, we should do short videos about every episode.
I'm sorry.
Even if we're just making
I'm
fun
not
of it.
going to.
Look, only because we have access to all the episodes before anyone else.
I don't care.
As far as channels concerned, it would be good for our channel to at least make fun of it a week before it comes out.
If you have like somebody giving the bird every like 5th frame, maybe like that's what the whole video would be.
So at the end of that, this is what he's talking about. At the end of the first episode, the way they solve a problem, I'm just going to tell you this right now.
No, go ahead.
The way they solve a problem, and they lead up like it's going to be some clever way they solve a problem. They're like, we're going to have to really connect on this and time it perfectly. And you got the 2 captains are on the planet, and they're like, we have to synchronize our ships, blah blah. And you think it's going to be this awesome like crazy maneuver they do to like save the day, and they go. They just both crash into the planet.
Listen, the more you talk about it,
there's a shot of them sticking out of the sand, bro. There's the 2 ships sticking out of the sand like this. And I was talking to Rob about it on the show, and I'm like, so Rob, what do you think about this shot? He goes, "It's the stupidest I've ever seen in life."
The problem is the more you talk about it, the less I actually want to watch it. So you probably shouldn't talk about it anymore. It's hard enough. It's hard enough to look at cynical Martin Green's face on the bridge.
Believe it or not, she's actually much better in this season, which is surprising.
I mean, after 5 years, you think she would have gotten better. You know what I mean? So
yeah, look, as much trash as I'm talking about it, this season's actually better than every other previous season of Discovery.
Jesus, not hard to do.
I was telling Shane, I'm like, if this was like the 2nd season, I'd be like, it got potential, but it's the last season. Rec Thoughts says genetically, thank you, Rec Thoughts. Genetically engineered trans-con fighting transformers. Sign me up.
This is the origin story of Star Trek right here.
This is the origin story.
And aliens and transformers.
From Euron for 100 sec. I still don't even know what. Where are you from again, Euron? Like, we're very friendly with the guy, and we don't even know where you're from. I don't even know what sec is. Do you know what sec is?
It is, yes, it is Serbian.
Oh, sir. Well, that's awesome. He says, I low-key hate the Troy character in TNG. I got to read it. Like, I low-key stop laughing.
You're the one laughing.
I got to read it without laughing, but you keep chuckling. I low-key hate the Troy character in TNG. Been rewatching all the Trek shows. Every time she shows up, I want to squeeze the life out of her.
That's funny, Euron. And now that I'm older, I tend to feel a similar way about Deanna. But when I was a teenage boy, I wanted her to come on screen as much as humanly possible.
I'll be honest with you. I wasn't allowed to watch Star Trek, but I did it anyways. When I was young, I wasn't allowed to watch TV growing up. And I mean, I wasn't.
Sounds ridiculous.
You want to know where my TV addiction came from, Dad?
Being withheld.
Not being allowed to watch TV. So I would get up at like 3 a.m. and watch TNG reruns in like my living room on the CRT TV, and the volume's really low, so I wouldn't wake anybody up.
Right.
So like 90% of everything I watched was because of closed captioning. So she didn't bother me. But later on in life, I was like, yeah, she does sort of suck. Like, she's a little annoying. But when I was a kid, first off, I was a young teen, and she ain't annoying then. And I didn't have to hear her voice most of the time.
Well, we had a look-alike where I worked, and all we did was stare at her, so couldn't help it.
Oh, geez.
She was very attractive when she was young.
You sound like a lot like Les Moonves right now.
What?
He was a predator.
No, I mean, in what way?
He would.
I was a teenage boy. Les Moonves was a 55-year-old disgusting
with a lot of money and a lot of power over the people that he preyed on.
Power over the people he preyed on. Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God! On Twitter, what's the lady's name that played Tasha Yar? I'm forgetting her name right now.
Oh, Denise.
Denise something, right? She did an interview where she was like, I quit Star Trek because I was tired of being
Yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
She did an interview where she said recently, I quit Star Trek because I was tired of being the token sexy blonde.
That's not why.
First off, we know exactly what happened. It's in multiple books. There's a lot of information on this. Secondly, at no point have I ever looked at Tasha Yar and been like, that's the sexy blonde.
Yeah, Denise Crosby is her name.
Yes. Not throwing shade, but I never looked at her that way.
Well, the reason she quit was actually because she thought she was going to be a huge star. That's why she quit Star Trek.
Yeah, she joined another show that failed, right?
Yeah, later on she would go and say, sex this and sex that. But the reality is she wanted to be available to do movies. So
yeah,
again, Blaylock, same thing.
Not throwing shade. I'm sure she's a fine person, but I just never looked at her that way. I looked at her as like the security, muscle. I didn't look at her and be like, that's a hot chick. Especially when you're standing next to like Beverly Crusher and Deanna Troi. Like,
I just assumed she was lesbian. Like at that time, I just assumed she was lesbian because at the time, and I don't mean to like
the haircut. She had the haircut. She had she wore the uniform.
I don't mean to say all lesbians are a certain way, but most lesbians at the time in the 80s seemed to have short haircuts for women.
Yeah, that was the style.
And they were butchy, and she was butchy. So,
yeah.
The show obviously showed her as liking men, but it came across as that way.
You remember the opening of that episode where it's her sashaying down the corridor and she's like waving her hips back and forth?
I don't remember.
It's the episode where everyone gets horny.
Oh, I don't remember her sashaying, but yeah.
Yeah, it literally opens up with her sashaying down the corridor. That same episode where Captain Picard and Beverly Crusher are like they're leaning. He's leaning up against. He's like, Doctor.
Yeah, it's
Doctor.
The most uncomfortable, the first or second most uncomfortable episode of Star Trek.
We must contain ourselves. That opens up.
Someone needed to be ravaged.
That opens up with Denise Crosby sashaying down the hallway in like deep sashay, like really moving the hips. And I remember being like 15 years old and thinking, that chick has a flat butt.
That is definitely not Deanna Troy's ass.
That is not Deanna Troy.
Yeah.
That was also where I developed a crush for Beverly Crusher. She had that scene where she's like leaning on the edge. She's like, Captain. And you're like,
whoa, hey.
Beverly.
Holy cow. Woo-hoo.
What's up? From Kenneth the Rogue, he said, for $5, thank you, Kenneth the Rogue. You're really supporting us, man. Says, Brian, do you really want Shane to miss another month or longer by forcing him to watch STD?
They knew that I was about to have a nervous breakdown, which is why I had to walk away from it.
Stop.
It's a good point, Ken. It's a good point. Michael Nemo for $2. Holy shit, Shane. What was it that I said? I noticed down here they saying the naked now. That was the really cringy episode.
Yeah. Doctor, we must contain ourselves. Jabby, Brian keeps saying what I'm typing as I'm typing it. Good to see you today, Jabby. Again, another one from Ufuk Dabish. Here, you read this one if I'm doing it wrong.
What? You're saying it perfectly.
Am I?
I'm just hilarious. I mean, if you really want it to be proper, it would be you fuck that bitch. That's what he's saying. It's not you fuck that beach because he feels like he has to say it in an Asian accent or something.
Crosby on Red Shoes Diary. She have small bobs.
Yeah, that's where she had to go, is to Red Shoes Diary, because that was popular in the mid to late 80s because they wouldn't put her in movies.
What is the Red Shoes Diary?
It was
it was like Cinemax.
Yeah, it was the HBO version of like
Cinemax. Yeah,
soft porn.
I can't believe Denise Crosby did Cinemax.
Oh, Michael Nemo, just nice to see you, man. Thanks, man.
Isn't that like
Thanks, brother, you too.
That decade's equivalent of OnlyFans?
No, I mean you couldn't interact.
When an actor has to go do Skinemax.
Oh,
right?
Well, I mean, usually it was young actresses. Usually it was up and coming actors and actresses that did those things. But Denise really couldn't get any gigs, so that was next. So she really didn't like the sex appeal of being on Star Trek. Then she ended up doing a softcore porn episode.
I'm gonna have to look that up later on just to confirm. Michael Nemo for $2. Just nice to see you, man.
Oh man,
thanks, Mike.
Appreciate you, dude.
You're a mensch, dude.
It's good to be back, even though I'm like in like haunted storytelling mode with this light. What's going on here?
And now, on the Red Shoes Diaries.
Well, you know, the way that show was is like it was usually a woman, and she was telling her story. Right. She was telling her story about some sexual encounter that she had. And so she would narrate it, and then you would see her getting it on with some dude throughout the episode. So,
all right. So you guys tell us, in fact, if you're watching this after the fact, please hit the comment section and let us know what you think the Star Trek Origin movie will be. What time frame, what time period, and give me your wildest ideas. And if you're in chat right now, also give us your wild ideas. All right, moving on. Let's talk about outrage as high school student is suspended just for using the term illegal alien in class discussion.
This might actually be the reason I stopped doing live streams.
Okay, real quick.
Story right there.
When I had to Google this because I was like, why would someone be suspended for using the term illegal alien. And when I Googled it, I found this. Noun, often disparaging and offensive, a foreigner who has entered or resides in a country unlawfully or without the country's authorization. So, illegal alien is officially hate speech.
I mean, it says often. I think you need to bring that up again. It says often that way. It doesn't actually say hate speech. So Google didn't go all the way with it. It does say a foreigner who has entered, but it says often disparaging and offensive. So they wanted to make sure they threw that in there first, of course. Here's the problem. When you're like, look, that person came into the country and they are an illegal alien, right? That is the terminology that we use for people who are not supposed to be here, that are here illegally in this country. They are illegal aliens. Now, if they take offense to the factual position that they have put themselves in, right? If they take offense to this, I'm fucking sorry. I mean, tough shit. You're the one who came here that way. That's the term that is used for you. It doesn't literally mean go and beat that person up. It's not what it means. It means like that is what you are. For example, if I am a guy who shops at Costco, I am a Costco shopper. Therefore, that's what I have
But what if you shop at Costco without a Costco membership?
I would be an illegal alien Costco shopper. And I'm going to be offended if you call me that.
Look, I do. Growing up, I always thought the term illegal alien was weird. And I always thought illegal immigrant made way more sense. So I get that. Like, I'm not sure why we call it anyone.
Is legal.
I understand it's legal, but it just felt like as an enjoyer of sci-fi, I was like, why alien?
Well, alien means foreign. You're alien to that. That's what it means, foreign.
Okay.
So it's the legal term that was used. Now, would you feel better if we called you an illegal immigrant, an illegal trespasser, an illegal person? I mean, what's the proper word that's not going to hurt somebody's feelings, man?
Now it's undocumented worker. No, undocumented immigrant or something, right?
I think undocumented is also considered like a bad thing to say.
Undocumented.
Can't call somebody undocumented.
Really? I mean, yeah. I don't know. I didn't President Biden get in trouble for that, right? Yeah, he he had to correct himself because he used. I don't remember, but either way, the story is not about that. The story, in my opinion, is much worse. I don't really care what terminology you use, as long as no one is violent, no one is rude, that kind of stuff. Like, don't disparage people. But I think that using the term, especially if that's what you know, and it's not like it's a racial slur or something, is completely fine. Now, what happened was, there was a high school student, a 16-year-old North Carolina high school student, says he was suspended just for saying illegal alien while discussing the word meaning in English class.
And let me be clear, North Carolina is a long ways away from any border other than the ocean.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Possibly ruining his chances of landing a college sports scholarship. Now, I gotta see him play before.
That's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I gotta see him play before I think that's real.
So stupid. Like the parents are concerned that the term racism was used on his permanent record, which, by the way, the colleges don't even give a shit about your high school permanent record. So, I mean, that's a dumb thing to be worried about. What you should really be concerned about is when they went to go speak with the school, did they give you a reasonable reason or what? Because nobody's telling the school side of this.
Yeah, that's my problem. My problem is that they didn't, that there was no reasonable. Okay, let me read the story. He received a 3-day suspension last week. By the way, 3 days is not 3 weeks. People are reporting 3 weeks.
It's a vacation for me.
It was not 3 weeks. It's 3 days.
I would try to get 3 days off if I was in high school.
And by the way, I was suspended so many times in high school. Like,
for so less of offenses.
Yeah, I was suspended multiple times, and I never had a problem. Like, this was not on my permanent record. No one even remembers high school. But so there's some hyperbolic, reactionary stuff going on here. This is what his mother said. Leah McGee said his teacher had given an assignment that used the word alien and Christian-esque, like space aliens or illegal aliens without green cards. Bro, when I was 16, I would have said the same thing.
Right, but it would have been much worse, probably. Like, you would have been saying it for the intent of getting laughter, which we don't know if that's why he said it.
We don't.
It's possible, because all we're getting is his side of the story. And of course, anytime I did something bad in school, I made sure I looked as good as possible when the story came out. And the school is refusing to kind of explain what happened. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right. So another student reportedly took offense and threatened to fight Christian. So the teacher took the matter to the assistant principal, according to the Carolina Journal. Eventually, his words were determined to be offensive and disrespectful to Hispanic classmates. I think that's racist. It was only only offensive to Hispanic classmates. Hold up, are they the only people that are illegal? Immigrants.
This country's hot button point is, illegal immigrants from Latin America. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. We're not worried about those French illegal immigrants coming in here, or those Great Britain Canadians. Which is funny because his parents kind of argued, if someone who comes here illegally from England is illegal alien as well. And they're like, yeah, we're not too worried about that one, I don't think.
I think it's funny though when you have like somebody from like Europe, like, and right now in New York, there's literally like people from like West Africa complaining about not being put up in hotels or whatever. And you're like,
is that all true? I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, there's footage of it. Yeah.
I can't tell anymore.
There's all kinds of footage of it. So they got debit cards, and when they got the debit cards, they were kicked out of hotels and they were said to go to shelters with your debit cards. And they got big debit cards too, like $1,000. Anyways, my thing was like, I'm all for taking care of people, but they're claiming asylum, except for they had to take a boat here.
Well, I mean, it probably wasn't. They probably didn't pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't asylum though like the first country outside your country? Why is asylum?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Asylum is you leave your country and the next country over you request asylum.
I guess now asylum is the United States of asylum.
Whatever it takes to get to the USA, baby, because they're giving out debit cards with thousands of dollars and giving people hotel rooms. Let's go,
dude. I don't even knock.
I would go.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Isn't that their fault, dude? They're getting free. They're getting staying in hotels, getting debit cards. Listen, if I was from another country, I'd want to come here too.
I would. 100%.
It's not even their fault.
So, but the point is regardless of whether or not it's one of the most hottest topics, politically right now, about whether or not the border should be open or closed, or or who's coming in, who's not coming in. The point is when you can't use a term in school, and it's not like, according to his point of view, what he was saying, he wasn't calling some Latin American kid, some Hispanic kid, hey, you illegal immigrant.
No.
Okay. He didn't do that. Right. If he had done that, then sure. I mean, why not suspend his butt, for 3 days, for being a little dickhead? Why not? But if he just used the word in a sentence, then that's a problem that we have right now.
No, that is a problem. And the fact that the student that threatened to quote unquote kick his ASS, he should be there. There should be something there too. If you're gonna suspend someone for 3 days for using the wrong word, then maybe levy some punishment toward the person that threatened physical violence. Ultimately, physical violence is a lot more offensive to me than any kind of speech.
Well, I don't think speech. I honestly don't think speech is, sticks and stones. Hurt feelings don't mean shit to me. Like you punch me in the jaw, we got a problem. I mean, honestly, but that's just not the way the world works anymore. And honestly, violence is completely irreprehensible. Like, even the discussion of violence in today's young generation is considered like, oh my God, did he say he was going to punch that guy?
Right.
Did he say he cancel him? Can't cancel him now. I mean, that's kind of the way it works.
Right away.
So imagine
straight to jail.
Yeah.
Straight to jail.
But if you're going to kick their ASS because they said something that hurt somebody's feelings, totally acceptable. I mean, that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah. So this is what this is the quote from the mom. Then we're gonna move on. I just think it's funny. She said, "He is devastated and concerned that the racism label on his school record will harm his future goal of receiving a track scholarship." Calm down. Just 3 days.
It's not. And
look, I don't agree with him being suspended, but also it's 3 days and it's high school. No one cares.
Yeah. And you know, he's kind of a little white kid. So I mean, I highly doubt he's going to get a track scholarship. I mean, all due respect. I mean, honestly, what percentage of young white kids are being recruited at colleges to go run the 100 meters?
That's racist.
No, it's only racist if I hate them for it.
That's true.
I'm simply pointing out something that's very freaking obvious. So.
My niece is
maybe the junior college or something.
My niece is half white, half Hispanic. She's like almost my height. She's like 85 pounds, and she runs literally like a cheetah.
Oh, all right.
She's so unbelievably fast. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
Whenever I see her, I'm like, none of these shorties are going to keep up with her. Sorry. Like her her legs are like almost inhuman.
Right. Yeah. Maybe he can get a scholarship throwing the javelin or the discus or something.
Wrestling.
Or doing the high jump.
Wrestling.
Listen.
High jump. High jump.
No, it's track and field events. So maybe he could. Maybe he could get something. But for the 100-meter dash or 200-meter dash, you're done, buddy.
Yeah, I think you're done. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Will Smith.
Okay, why not? Loving me some Will Smith.
Really quickly, just because I want to show you guys this. Will Smith, the guy who slapped the snot out of Chris Rock after Chris Rock made fun of his wife on stage, and then he went back to his chair and cried.
Violence.
That Will Smith, or maybe you know him as the guy from Men in Black and a lot of blockbuster movies like Wild Wild West or whatever.
You know, the year that he slapped Chris Rock in the face, he did win an Oscar for Best Actor. Just heads up.
That's true. So real quickly, his social credit has been at an all-time low since the slap heard around the world.
Social credit. That's so funny.
I don't know. People, the Zoomers think poorly of him because of the slap. And he went to Coachella and he surprised Coachella by doing his Men in Black song, his famous Men in Black song. Here come the Men in Black. I can't do any more than that. Okay, copyright claim.
Who goes to Coachella? What's the demographic?
I guess Zoomers.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say is like what was the point? You're like,
I don't know.
They don't know that.
But it was cool. He had a giant alien head and he had a bunch of Men in Black dancers. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to finish up with this. I thought it was really rad because he did this. Yeah, let me skip right to the end. He pulls the singer away. He says, he screams, Coachella, pulls out a neuralizer, and flashes the crowd like, forget about the slap.
Can we just forget about it, move on? I've already been, I'm not allowed to go back to the Academy Awards for 10 years, right? So that's his ban, 10 years.
Right.
He didn't get a lifetime, right?
No, he didn't get a lifetime.
Just 10 years. Yeah. Let's see. These are the type of people you'll see at Coachella. Kids looking for the pool. Spring breakers, fashionistas, frat bros. These are the people that go to Coachella, bro. So I don't understand what audience he's looking for here.
All I know is that it blew up online, and I think this was actually a good move for him because a lot of people are forgetting about. They're just like, yeah, Will Smith's back, whatever, blah blah blah. So good.
What he
good
needs
on
to
him.
do is go make another movie where he's incredible in it, like Pursuit of Happiness or King Richard. Go make another one of those movies, and then just After you do a couple of those, they'll eventually forget about it.
Well, he actually decided to go the other way and make Bad Boys 4.
Isn't he getting back together with his wife? Dummy.
Oh, yeah. He's not too bright. Okay, from Ufuk Dat Bish, he says Red Shoes Diaries is on Tubi. Thank you, Ufuk.
Why do you say it with an Asian accent?
Because it's spelled that way. Fook. Wait, am I wrong? Isn't that supposed to be like an Asian word, right? I guess I could say it like with an English accent, like Fook Dat.
No, say it with an English accent. You got to say it, with a Cockney.
You fool. I can't do it. Yoran fell. Thank you, Yoran. The origin story for Star Trek Origins is going to be to save us from Tuvix.
I like it.
I like it too. I would love to see Tuvix again. I know they're never going to do it, but I want to do it. I want to see it. You know why? Because the memes would be phenomenal. It's like
the sum is not greater than the parts, bro.
That's fair enough. Michael Nemo for $10. Thank you, Michael. Says some of the issue is when someone is called an illegal changeling. sorry. I read that wrong. Some of the issues when someone is called an illegal, changing the illegal from an adjective to a noun makes the person sound illegal as opposed to their actions or location. Fascinating. I like that.
So changing the illegal from an adjective to a noun makes the person sound illegal. So I guess, saying, hey, you illegal alien, that probably would not be nice.
Yeah.
But if you say, oh, look, there goes an illegal alien. I mean, I don't know. Why don't you just recognize the fact that you're an illegal alien?
Who cares?
And you should accept the fact that, hey, you're in this really cool country now, and you should be okay. Listen, if the worst thing that happens to you, if you were sleeping in a hut in the mud in some third world country and fighting over pieces of rice, when you get to this country, they give you $1,000 gift card and a place to sleep, whatever. If the worst thing that happens to you is somebody goes, there goes an illegal immigrant. What? Right?
Yeah, listen. For $10,000, you can spit in my mouth. I don't care what you call it.
I would also take that.
You'd be surprised what I would do for $10,000.
Yeah, actually, really good point.
I mean, I am offended by my own thoughts right now. I feel shame inside for what I would do for $10,000.
Actually, you know what's funny is I said you're on false money earlier was Serbian. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. It's not. It's Swedish.
It's Swedish kroner.
Swedish
right?
kroner.
See,
sorry, you're on.
Sorry, Joran. Shane is racist.
It's been a while. No, racism means hate is involved.
That's
you
true.
cannot be racist
That's
without
true.
hate. The racism word is thrown around way too much. Now, I may be insensitive. I may be an asshole or a jerk or completely oblivious of the things that I say, but I am definitely not filled with hate in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's true. And neither am I. I don't hate no one. I love everyone, man. Everyone's awesome.
I don't love
Everything
everyone,
is awesome.
but I definitely don't hate anybody based on their appearance.
Well, let me be clear. I don't love everyone, but I also don't want anyone to be harmed in any way ever.
I agree with that. Yep.
You know? Unless you harm my family, then you're red mist. Like,
yeah,
just
if you steal
mist.
from me, I might break off something.
Yeah, that's different. But like people I don't know, no.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why we can't just listen. Let's take a page of the late 90s and just be cool.
Yeah, I don't want Godzilla to step on anyone. Like for real.
Yeah.
That's Bigfoot. It's going to hurt.
So, you're on for 100 Swedish kroners, I think.
Yeah.
We'll take a canoe and paddle across the Atlantic to America to claim asylum. My Nordic heritage gives me Viking sea powers.
Hey, you're on. Vikings were here first, man. Don't let nobody tell you no different, okay? The Vikings were in North America first.
Who was
not
the
before
first ones here were Native Americans, right? Or
Yeah, but we don't call them Native
that's actually
Americans.
that's the wrong thing to call them now, right? It's called.
Well, see, you can call them Native Americans, but the reality is before they got here, when they were arriving, they were not Native Americans. They were, Eastern Asian people.
No, but what's the proper term now for them?
Or came across, what's that?
What's the right term for Native Americans? It's like indigenous, I think.
No, indigenous American. Yeah, you can call them Native Americans or indigenous.
I think Native Americans actually I think you're not supposed to use that word
because of the word native.
I don't effing know, bro. I grew up at a time where that was the right thing to call them, and calling them, Indian was the wrong thing to call them.
Indians. It went from Indians, Indians to Indians, Indians to Native Americans, Native Americans. Now we're going to call them
indigenous peoples. I just looked it up.
Indigenous peoples. Yeah.
Whatever.
By the way, they're not indigenous. Indigenous means that this is where they came from. They came from.
Yeah, they came from the land bridge, right? The
yeah,
ice bridge.
most of them. There's other ways that they think they got across too. They think some of them came right across the Pacific. So.
All right. Well, you know what? Everyone is people, so whatever.
It's all good. However you got here, it doesn't matter. You're here. It's all good.
I'm like 14 things, so there's no way for me to raise this because I'd be racist against like at least half of my bloodline. Michael Nemo, Will Smith is following in the footsteps of Louis C.K. Will slapped, Louis slapped his meat.
Both are forgiven. Mike, that's funny. Like that's really good. That's a good
when they talked about the Louis C.K. thing, I just imagine Louis C.K. because remember he was like jerking off into a plant or something.
He was in his own room.
I know he's in this hotel room.
He was in his own room.
And imagine this is a plant. He's like,
all I want to say is the guy was in his own room, and what you do in your own room is his business. You can just leave. Like you can just leave his room if you don't like that he's jerking off in the corner. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you got a really bad rap, I think.
I mean, come on. He didn't go and slap someone in the face in front of millions of people and then go back to his seat. And as he's returning to his seat and go, oh my God, what did I just do? That didn't happen. But you're right. They were both slaps of meat, Michael. Thank you.
Okay. We got one more topic. We're going to talk about. I'm trying to say this with a straight face. Give me a second.
You got to hit yourself to get it out right.
Stop. Give me a second.
I hope this topic is funny. Otherwise, we're going to.
We need to talk about the Powerpuff Girls.
Damn you! I told you I didn't want to talk about this. Come on, man.
We need to talk about the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, God.
And let me tell you something. There is an entire subreddit up in arms about this exact topic.
Is it the furries? Is it the furry subreddit?
No, it's the Powerpuff subreddit.
I didn't know they had a subreddit.
These are your new Powerpuff Girls, everyone. They're all grown up now, led by Chloe Bennett of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fame. These are the Powerpuff Girls. Now, this show was greenlit. They started shooting. They actually wrote script, and Shane just left. Shane said, F off, I'm leaving. Shane, you have to come back.
I don't want to talk about this.
You have to. You have to. Because the script leaked.
I don't want to.
Stop. The script leaked. Come on, come back, Shane. I'm not going to do this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The script leaked. And this is the script. And quite surprisingly, they're actually rewriting it now that people have lost their minds. This is from...
Wait, can we read it like as a script?
Yes. This is from Bubbles. Would you like to be Buttercup or Bubbles?
I'll be Bubbles.
Okay, can you see the whole thing?
I can see this part you got up here.
And you're going to have to be Buttercup because you can only see that part.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty. Blossom's fine. I saw her on Insta that she has a boyfriend. I saw on her LinkedIn that she got promoted. And I saw on her Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences.
Coming back here is probably triggering for her. What the fuck is this?
Why? Because she's the one who killed Mojo? I mean, moveon.org. It gets better.
What the hell, dude?
It gets better. All right, this is from Bubbles. Look, we loved being Powerpuff Girls, but sometimes we wanted to be other things too, like in Dirty Dancing. Baby wanted to join the Peace Corps, but she also wanted to be a fancy slut.
Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
And her dad didn't get it.
She wanted a Peace Corps and a slut.
She wanted to be a fancy slut.
Wait, is this what is this supposed to be serious? What?
No, yeah, this is the script. Here we go. Blossom heads upstairs where a bumping sound continues from Buttercup's room, then abruptly stops. Blossom opens the door to find Buttercup in bed with Macy, the women she eyed at the bar last night. They've just finished.
Wait, what? Can you tell me again? What are the Powerpuff Girls about?
Powerpuff Girls are little girls that were turned into superheroes by their adopted father.
Why are they having sex and angry at their grandpas?
Oh, because they're grown up now. And here's the wait. Here's the answer. This is how it connects the live action show to the cartoon. Here's from Bubbles. Bubbles is the main character. Just in case you didn't know, Bubbles is the main character played by Chloe Bennett.
Yep.
I always believed in you and defended you, Dad. Even when you sold away our likeness to that cartoon, which, by the way, totally whitewashed us. Even then, I had your back. I always had a smile on my face and never broke character, even though there was so much more to me. I always put my family and my team first, no matter what.
Actual script, huh?
Yeah, and I love this. This is this is from the Powerpuff Girls subreddit, commenting on the script. What the did I just read? Some horny fan fiction?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and so someone says, "Oh, this is probably fake," and says the copyright strikes on Twitter beg to differ. Right. So if this gets copyright strike, I'm sorry. I just realized that might be a problem.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, so basically the Powerpuff Girls are all lesbians now, and they're fancy sluts.
Who were they again? It was a cartoon from what decade?
It was a cartoon from like the 90s, and they were little girls that were given superpowers by their adopted father, and they fought a monkey called Mojo.
All right. And who wants to watch this now?
The Powerpuff subreddit.
No, I mean like so it was 1998, right?
All right.
So yeah, so I guess the little girls who would have watched that show at 5 and 6 years old, right, are now in their late 20s.
Right.
Yeah. Early 30s. So they want to talk about their lesbianism. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
So that's happening. Is that the show's canceled or keep?
Well, they're rewriting now because the script leaked. That's why. That's why.
Could it be worse than Velma?
Hey, I will die on this hill. I liked Velma.
What?
Yes, because it was so stupid. I laughed.
How can you like it?
If you make it so stupid and so hyper woke, it makes me laugh. Then that by definition, that's entertaining. Plus, it opened up with a bunch of naked cartoon.
There's a difference between entertaining and good.
It wasn't good. It was just entertaining, and because it was so horrible. Euron says, "Putting away my dirty thoughts."
Thank you, Euron, because it was obviously catching on us. Okay, whatever you were sending out here.
Okay, we're gonna go to the members section here. So here we go. We're gonna talk about Superman a little bit, but I want you guys to answer this poll. What do you guys want to talk about in the members section? While I catch Shane up on Superman. So as you're aware, Shane, James Gunn is in the middle of creating Superman. This right here is James Gunn with David Cornsweet and I forgot her name. The chick that plays Lois Lane. And today is Superman Day, Shane. You know what that means?
Yeah. It means that Superman was born today, 1939.
It's awesome. And we haven't been able to talk about it because you've been gone. But have you heard of all the new casting for Superman?
Yes, I have. You've gone over it multiple times, but we can talk about it again if you like.
So you watched the show when you weren't here?
No, you talked about it before the show, actually, before I left. This is how old this news is. You talked about it before I left, and then you talked about it repeatedly and constantly while I was gone. But let's talk about it now that I'm back too as well.
No, we're not going to do that.
David Cornsweet.
No, stop.
Exactly
We're not going to do that.
Oh, sorry.
My only thing is we were supposed to get a suit reveal today. James Gunn promised it on Superman today, and it's almost 6:00 in
broken promises
tonight, and we haven't gotten
Cheers.
it. So, hashtag boycott James Gunn.
Brian, just open up the 1939 comic. You'll see the suit.
That's pretty much that. Yeah, there's.
So what is it? What is it that you're loving?
I put it on the thing because we were supposed to get the look at the actual suit, the suit that David Cornsweet is going to be wearing in the movie, but it hasn't popped up yet.
Will there be an S on it?
Yeah, have you seen the new S? Legitimately, have you? No, it's not. It's not the same as one that Christopher Reeve wore.
Let's see it. Bring it up.
So you haven't seen it?
I'm sure I have. I just probably didn't care. Listen, I love Christopher Reeves. I absolutely loved our last Superman.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about David Cornsweet. Now, maybe in 2 years, he'll be my favorite thing. But right now, I'm still brokenhearted.
All right. I saw the movie with Henry Cavill.
Which one?
Ungentlemanly Warfare or whatever.
Doesn't sound very good.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it's actually called. It's
So wait, that was a name you made up?
No, it's called something like that. It's like something about ungentlemanly warfare.
Is it a recently released movie?
Yeah, it came out like a couple days ago.
Oh, it must be like a streaming movie.
It's called it's in theaters, dude.
No.
It's called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
No.
You ever heard of this?
The marketing must have been fantastic for it.
Well, yeah.
Because I haven't heard of it.
We'll talk more about this later on after you've seen it. I'm sure you will.
Is he playing Warhammer 20,000?
He is in that, not in this movie. But look at this. Okay. I want you to look at this poster, and now I want you to think back to Argyle.
What? Well, Argyle wasn't a timepiece. This looks like it was a movie.
Think back to Argyle and think about the casting. Who was front and center in that movie?
Oh, yeah.
And then you watch this movie. So who do you think would be the main character in this movie?
It's obviously the girl with the guns.
100%.
Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course it is.
So it looks like it's Alan Richardson, the guy who plays Reacher, and Henry Cavill. And the trailer also paints them as being the main characters.
Interesting.
But the movie is mostly about her. He's not really in it as much. He's in it, but he's barely in it. Like it's literally like a copy of Argyle, dude.
Bait and switch, baby. That's how they do it.
How often though? Like it looks like he's doing that a lot. Like people are gonna start like this is gonna hurt his career if every time like I went to watch this movie because of him and Alan Richardson.
Right.
Like I like those two actors. I loved Reacher and I loved Superman. I wanted to see them.
Of course.
And they're in the movie, but they're not the main character. So I was once again sold a false bill of goods here.
Yeah, no, you're right. It sucks.
Isn't that going to hurt his career if he continues?
I don't think it'll hurt his career. I think that people aren't going to show up to the movie. But listen, when people don't show up to watch that movie, they're going to be like, who's the star? Oh, well, it's going to be the girl. Right? He's not the star of the movie. He wasn't the star of Argyle. So he's not the one who's going to take the hit on the movie being bad. Just because these idiots are smartly using marketing with Henry Cavill on the cover because he's an exquisite stud that you put him in the front. But the problem is like movie posters exist for a reason. It's supposed to. It's like a thumbnail. Like imagine going to YouTube and you get a thumbnail of, Henry Cavill, and then you open it up and it's all about, some Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
Brian and Jane,
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. You're going to be disappointed, and that's what's happening with these movies.
I get that, but I don't know why, if the studio is willing to like push him and market him and put him in every trailer and every poster and make it look like it's him, why don't they just let him do a movie? Why don't let him be the main character? Can he not carry a movie on his own?
Well, he can, but he just hasn't. It's possible that he's not. The Witcher stuff may have hurt him, you know, and the fact that he's not being Superman anymore, they might be a little worried about him being the lead in a movie.
Maybe,
you know, they might be worried about him as the star because he's a little bit, you know, different than everybody else.
He's different,
which is okay. I like his difference, but it might be like people are worried about him carrying a movie. But I mean, he's obviously got the talent. I would like to point out, though, Brian, in this poll that you put up, absolutely no one wants to talk about Superman. So just want to be very clear about this.
That's fine.
0%.
Yeah, I just put that on there because I needed a fourth option. I was going to put Star Trek Discovery, and I was like, wait, I don't want to talk about that.
More people want to talk about random weirdness than they want to talk about Superman.
That's a bread and butter. Here's the new logo, and I'll give it up. I'll stop. Hold
on a second. Where the fuck's the S?
Yes, that. Thank you. So you haven't seen it.
I obviously haven't seen it.
It's literally a copy, like I predicted, of the Kingdom Come S. See that?
Oh. Okay. Well, that gives away something then, right?
Oh yeah. It's like I think it's an origin story for Kingdom Come, which is, and I'm gonna give this to you. This is your copy, Shane. Look how thick that is, dude. That's a literal comic novel right there.
I don't want that. Did you say you're gonna give that to me?
You said if I bought it for you, you would read it.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I did say that. Listen, the original Superman S as an S. Why are they doing this?
They want to be different.
It just makes me angry when they're different. Don't be different, James.
Don't be different, James.
Be the same but different.
Stop being so different, James.
Listen, it's not an S anyways. It means hope. You know.
All right, we're moving on. We're going to the members section. If you want to be a member, please hit the join button below. We're going to hang out there and we're going to talk about Star Trek Origins and random weirdness, because those are the top two contenders.
But mostly Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah, we'll debase the franchise again.
Well, also, watch me attempt to convince Shane to watch Star Trek Discovery.
You put out I was going to do that.
Yeah, so come on down. The water's warm. Hit the join button. Please hit the join button. If you are watching this as an archive or after the fact, do me a giant solid. If you've gotten this far, that means you like to listen to us talk or rant or complain or whatever we're doing here today. So do me a favor and give us some interactions, baby. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Most importantly, hit the comment section and let us know what you guys thought of these topics. Be as detailed as you want. I almost always answer comments back, and so does Shane. We need interactions to grow this channel. Without your interactions, we are nothing. So if you've gotten this far, that means you care enough to actually interact with us. So hit the likes, hit the comments, and please interact. And for the love of God, if you were not subscribed and you got this far, what are you doing with your life? Come on.
With your life. Yeah.
Subscribe
or
already.
just, please subscribe.
Or just...
And once again, shout out to everybody who super chatted us today. Thank you for the warm welcome back. Kenneth, a little roke, thank you for the huge super chat, and everybody else. And also the gifted memberships from Euron, Kenneth, and everybody who donated. I just really appreciate you guys so much. Brian, take us on out.
All right, I'm going to the members section. We love you. See you there.
Nothing is impossible. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it.